Hello, and welcome to a director's video on a piece I wrote called Campfire. It's no small thing, and it doesn't get past me to realize that you've chosen something that I've made to work on for your students. So I'm always and forever grateful for those opportunities. I don't always write with the idea that I'm going to teach something specific, but in this piece I am, and there's really two groups I'm thinking of. One group in terms of an instrument, and then one concept. And that is to teach a Nashville shuffle, which everyone does except for the basses. But then for the basses, I really want to teach fourth position. So I'll get to all of that. One way to teach that I know you realize is to prime your lessons with the scale that's in the piece and the rhythm that's involved or whatever. So in this piece, and like with the student video, I talked to them about learning an E natural minor scale and applying a Nashville shuffle to that. But I have to work with a couple of instruments in order to do that. So first for the cello, the E natural, they get up to a D on the A string and they've run out of fingers, right? And I don't have this in the piece, like I don't have them shifting up to E in the piece, but I do, and I did in the student video to help them learn how to get up there. So, that's E, F sharp, G, string cross A, B, C, D, they run out of fingers. So what are your choices? Well, one choice is to go to a first finger D in third position, and then you can play the third finger E. Now that lets your pinky kind of hang out. Normally on scales, we want the pinky to be the last note on these 2-octave scales, that is. And but it doesn't hurt to practice it. Why not? It's a really great position. And by the way, that first finger D is a sympathetic vibration. I tell the kids a wiggle string, so that open D will wiggle. So you'll get up and go find it, and then third finger E. Another way of doing it is to go B, C, and go to that second finger C, shift on it, go to the D. This is second position, and then fourth finger E. And that's a better one because you end up on a fourth finger E, like I said, right? So D to E, that's another one to learn. Plus, again, the D is the wiggle string, and then the E. The best one is to go first finger B, first finger C, extension D, and then the fourth finger E. If you're not taught extensions yet, I would say do this, but it's not more important than the other two. But it's really good for them to start doing and start thinking about extensions. Remember, extensions, they can do a major third from C to E in this case, because they're putting in another half step between 1 and 2 and making that a whole step. So it's really good practice for them to be working on extensions. All right, so that's the cello for the warm-ups on an E minor scale. As you realize on bass, they shift much sooner than everybody else. And I like to brag about that. I like to help them say, oh, that's really cool. Man, you're doing all this stuff that nobody else gets to do and think about. So you've probably worked on the D major scale so that they can play the 1 octave, the A, B, C sharp, D. It's probably something that you've done. And in this case, I really work on 2 positions, on fourth position and there's a passage in second position. But I really only want to talk about the fourth position. And in the E minor scale, you can practice some of this with them, okay? So they've got the E, F sharp. They have all of that. Then they got to get themselves, and they run out of fingers. They're like, oh man, I'm running out of fingers. You said, right. What I like to do is to play A, second finger B, and then C, and then D, and then the E. An old bass teacher a long time ago told me that if your last note is on a ledger line, shift on the B, and you'll work. The fingering will work out. So that's first finger A, second finger B, fourth finger C, go to fourth position D, and then fourth finger E. Now a couple things about this D. First of all, it's a cool note. It's a wiggle string. I emphasize that with the students. Or a sympathetic vibration, that open D will wiggle. So that's a great way of finding it without using a sticker. You use your ear. This is how string players do it anyway. you know, I miss it. Oh, man, there I am. That's one thing. Also, the fourth finger, E, is a wiggle string as well, right? Because I have the open E. But another one is, a lot of basses, your thumb in the neck and first finger across is going to be fourth position. Not all basses, though. You might want to fiddle around with what's in your room, because bass necks can be made differently, believe it or not. So don't tell the kids it's thumb in the neck and first finger across, because it might not be. Sometimes it's thumb in the neck, second finger across, whatever. There's just some different ways of finding that. But in this bass, it's really nice. There's a couple of things I can feel to go get that. Now, fourth position. There's D, there's E. When they string cross, that's A and fourth finger B. And I wrote a passage that gets them to only stay in fourth position. You'll see that. You'll see it says fourth position. Then it says first finger A. I'm not asking them to shift out, because they got to go right back up to that E. All right. So I work really hard on getting them to do the fourth position passage. And then so back to the scale. So they're going to be doing E, F sharp, G, A, second finger B, fourth finger C. That's second position. And then fourth position, D, and then E. All right, so back to warm-ups, doing an E natural minor scale. You just work on the scale, obviously. But once the kids get that, then I like to prime the piece with this warm-up and doing the Nashville shuffle. So a shuffle, you know, fiddle tunes, you know, just noodling around. But that down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up is a Nashville shuffle. Couple things about that. When you have an uneven number of bow strokes in a beat, your bow will alternate on the beat. Down, that's 3, which is uneven. Up, down, up. And help kids figure that out, because it will, when you're setting up the pulse, it will really help them stay on track, okay? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All of this needs to be right smack in the middle of the bow. Now I put in I call it a doohickey. By the way, I count rhythms with takadimi. Ta, dimi, ta, dimi, ta, dimi. It's very consistent. Love takadimi. Got videos on that if you're interested or have never used it. So, but on beat 4, I called it a doohickey. It's just really 2/8 notes, which is ta, di. Ta, di, ta, dimi, ta. Ta, di, right? E and then F sharp. And then so do the natural minor scale. Up, up. Right? Always people wonder, oh, you use a fourth finger or an open, it's a fiddle tune. You can do either one. By the way, in terms of a fiddle tune, the way I described it to the kids is Campfire to me is like not a raging crazy fire, but like a smaller kind of fire where it has a dance feel to it. You know, the kind that you want to roast marshmallows on and not burn them. And so it's that, and it's got earthy kind of tones most of the time, and chord choices, and so everything is just is tight and concise and dance-like in that sense. With that little doohickey. So I have that at the beginning, and I gave the very beginning to the seconds into the violas. So tell them to write me and say thank you, okay? So with first violins, 9 through 12, they got some running notes. They get to do the Nashville Shuffle. They got some scales. I have D major. I pointed out to them that there's D major in there. Wrong notes. Right, to drive down to that E. It's just a D major scale, drive down to that E. And they can have fun with that. And then measure 13, really important note here. The first violin part in measure 13 has a B on, I think it's on beat 2. That is incorrect. It should be exactly the same as measure 53. 54. Let me double check that. Yeah, it's the same as measure 54. They're just open A's. Just open A's. So the score is correct, by the way. So the part is a little bit wrong. Now here, just the scale. As you know, teach them where the skips are. That's really kind of nice. There's more noodling like that. So all that's pretty cool. Cellos get to do some of this as well. And so there's that. Measure 17 through 20. I have first violins doing some double stops. Now, they're fairly simple. They're just first fingers and opens for the most part. But there's one trick. The F sharp and the B is a little bit of a trick because if they don't really get on top of that D string, they're going to touch that A string and get some kind of weird sounds. One way I like to teach this, first of all, they've got to have a really nice shape like they're supposed to with their left hand. And everything is, I like to say, flat top on their first finger. It's a nice little hook going straight to the ceiling. But I like to teach them play on the G string side of the D string. And sometimes they have to really think that out. And I have to make sure I say that right. On the G string side of the D string, right? And that'll help you avoid the A string. And also those are all perfect intervals, and that's also very helpful. Measures 9 through 16, the basses are doing that fourth position, and I got them up there on that E. So just like I was mentioning earlier, they got to shift from a first finger E up to the E. You know, in terms of teaching, I always enjoy doing this. I would get the whole class to do first finger E's, right? And jump up and find the other E. You know, I get them to learn how to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know, I'm probably talking to 7th graders, but you know, the basses they're working on that E and they're jumping up and finding that E. And there's no reason why you can't get everyone to learn how to do this. And why? Just keep them busy or they'll tear your room apart. You understand that, right? But 2, you know, you don't even have to tell them all the crazy mechanics that's involved in all of that. You might just want to demo that, you know, tuck your elbows, violins and violas, right? Get yourself up there, learn how to find it, but your attention is really on the basses. But you start getting kids to start thinking about this stuff nice and early. And then comes the glorious day when they're supposed to be doing it and they're not freaked out. It's not a big deal. They'll finally get to do what the basses and cellos have been doing for a long time. So doing that shift. So there's that shift right up to that E, and then this whole passage, the entire passage from measure 9 through 16 needs to be in 4th position. So you will see, what is that, 9, 10, 11, 12, in measure 13, you'll see a 1 on that A. But that is not to be in 1st position. That is to be in 4th position. And actually, it's much easier just to get up, learn how to find it, and learn how to stay in position. So I highly encourage you to use that particular fingering for the basses. So I got my bass again for this. I'll scoot my stand over here so I don't hit it. This is measures 32 through 41. And it involves some 2nd position and a little bit of 4th yet again, okay? This is a fun little spot because it really is the melody, right? Now they jump up from here after that B, A, B. They need to go to 2nd position. So, and I like using dashes for shift, and I like showing the old finger dash new finger. So especially when there's a passage that has a lot of shifting in it. So I would put a 4 above that B and measure, 33, last note, and then put a dash 4 above the C, right? Shift. Now stay there, just string cross. There's my G, right? C, B, 4th finger G, 1st finger, and then B. And then I would put a 4 on that G, dash 1 for the E. And then they get to do it again. That time they get a shift on the rest. 4, dash 1, and then you play around. Big sounds here, right? And then ED. Now here, I put a 0 above that D. -4 above the C, 4, 4, put a 4 there, -1 here, and then fourth finger E. And they get themselves up to that as well. And so that's not as drastic of a shift like it is the first time to get up in there because they're coming off of second position. So get them to do a lot of second position in here and shift. Now there's other people with paintings about different spots to shift in there, and that's perfectly fine. Some people like teaching to shift in the slur. When kids are really young, I like shifting on bow changes because it's one of the principles that we try to shift on bow changes. But you know, especially if your kid is kind of advanced and can already do that, there's nothing wrong with getting them to shift on a second finger beat, just like they do in the scale. They're just doing it in the slur. Just makes it a little bit trickier. Okay. Campfire. It's fun. I've done this a few times with students in honor orchestras and stuff like that. Just really enjoy it. So once again, thank you for choosing this piece, and let me know how it's going or ask me questions. I'm more than willing to spend some time with you and help you teach this tune. All right, there you go.